Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Analyst Desk. It is I, Jacob Moore, the self-proclaimed sports analyst, and as I like to say, welcome to my lobby.
That's a new thing you like to say, Jacob. It's not just something you say.
Well,
It's the new thing you say.
And of course, I'm joined by the man who was not bit by a spider. He was bit by a goat, Mr. Adam.
It's true.
Do you know what that's from, Adam? That line I keep saying?
Yeah, it's from Eminem.
I am very impressed.
I know. I've listened to that album, Jacob. That album just came out. I've listened to that.
You know
song.
that album's been out now for almost a year and a half.
I do know that. I also know the song because I love that song. That's one of my favorite songs off that album.
Well, welcome everybody to the desk, and we have another action-packed episode here as we got to preview 2 semifinal games.
Ooh.
You have Team Sweden versus Team Finland for the World Juniors. Winner goes to the gold medal, loser goes to the bronze. And, of course, Team Canada rematch against Team Czechia, Canada's most recent arch nemesis. It's not the States lately. It's Team Czechia that's been kicking their butts in these key critical matchups. And I got to say, Adam, I don't know if you agree with me, but I think we're going to see 2 really competitive games today. I don't think there'll be any blowouts. Both of these teams are very good.
No, this is going to be a phenomenal semifinal Sunday. I still don't like it. I don't like semifinal Sunday. I prefer final Sunday because then we got the final tomorrow with the third place game at 4:30 on a Monday.
Which is it is kind of bizarre.
So weird. I don't like it.
Because you're not really giving them much of a chance to you're not going to get the peak amount of viewers.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird. It's
right?
Day.
Because it's tough, right? Because look, for someone like yourself, Adam, you're going to be at work.
Yeah, it's a short day tomorrow, though. I'm pretty sure. Which I'm kind of excited about it.
Yeah, I kind of low key move some things around so I could watch.
I'm gonna hate myself if it isn't.
But
I'm pretty sure I have a shorter day tomorrow, which I'm really hoping for at this point.
Now, interestingly enough, as you know, Mr. Adam, Lane dashing go, Mr. More for your money, jumped into the simulation to see how these games would go.
Ooh. Yes, they did.
Let's look at how things went with Sweden versus Finland. And this was a final score of 5-4 Sweden.
Wow. Close game. I could see that. I could definitely see that. Because these are both really strong, good teams, but they're both very good defensively.
I got to say, I love the still frame of Dan.
Yeah. So it could be very... Yeah. I love that. That's such a funny still frame.
As we know, Dan sometimes can have some interesting moments. We shared a recent... and Lane saying that was an overtime.
Oh, wow.
Lane is working overtime because even when he's not on the desk, he's on the desk. He's always jumping in the comment section. Always happy to have you, Lane. And I like to say now, welcome to my lobby. But I actually think, you know what? I think EA potentially got this right in a way. I'm not surprised by a lot of these statistics. Close game, I think it'll be. Finland out hitting Sweden more time on attack. I think that's pretty... I'm looking at these statistics. The only thing I think we're going to see special teams play more of an impact. Looks like there was just a fighting major in this one.
Yeah.
But I could see kind of Finland carrying the pace offensively, Sweden carrying the pace offensively, Finland carrying the pace physically.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you haven't had a chance to watch this simulation yet, it's a hell of a game. I mean, Dan and Lane have a blast doing them, and they're fun to join. So make sure you give them give it an old looky poo. Looky. And I could actually see this legitimately happening.
No, yeah, this could definitely be the score in this game. It's gonna be a great game. It's gonna be an interesting game to say the least.
So what do you think the keys are for this matchup? I think for Finland, I don't think Finland wants this to be 5-4. I think they want to keep this
out of the box. They gotta stay out of the box. The Swedes have the second best power play in this tournament, and that power play is lethal. With Antoine Frondel, Victor Eklund, Stenberg, Berglund, they could get themselves in real trouble if they take a lot of penalties. I don't think Ripon can keep all of this firepower out of the net. Like, I don't think he's going to be able to do it
Mhm.
like he did against the States. I think it'll be a lot harder because of how deep this team is. This team is a lot deeper than the States. They have a lot more goal scoring across all of their lines. Like, I think this would be a tough game if Finland get into penalty trouble again today. Like, I don't think they're going to be able to survive it.
I would say too, I actually think Sweden on a pure skill level, and this is no disrespect to Canada, by the way, this isn't a shot, but I think Sweden's skill level is the highest skilled team here.
Yeah,
So
probably.
I don't, if you're Team Finland, you desperately don't want to give team Sweden a lot of power play chances. But I also want to say, I think if you are Finland, I mean, if you're Sweden, sorry, you don't want to let the Finns really control this game physically. You know,
No.
Finland's a team that they like to forecheck. They like to make things very hard, take away space along the ice, keep shots to the outside. And I think we're potentially seeing the two best goalies in the tournament go head to head in this one. So I don't think you're beating these goalies clean. Like, I think both teams, especially Finland, though, because I think Finland's a little less skilled than Sweden. Not saying they don't have a highly skilled team, but the skill level is not quite as high. I think for Finland, it's going to be lots of shots of traffic, bodies in front, trying to make the goalie for Sweden really have to work for it.
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting matchup. It's a hard one to predict even too, because I feel like Finland, like despite the 7-4 scoreline when we played Finland, I thought Finland were like heavily skilled and they were like, I think Finland played a good hard game, like they do. But they can also reply really fastly, and their offense is low key very deadly. Like it's a very like nobody really talks about it, but they are very like they could score in an instant because they have a lot of really high end guys offensively. But like I think Sweden may have a little bit of trouble breaking them down defensively. I think a key for Sweden would be to avoid and do their best to move the puck quickly to avoid the forecheck of Finland. Because they don't want to get pummeled. Like, it's just not something you want to deal with, including with an extra game still to come for them. Like, whether it's gold or bronze, you don't want to be beat up ahead of that game.
Like, I think with the Finns, what people forget is they're not top heavy the way maybe some of these other countries are, but they have a really balanced offensive attack. Versus like Slovakia, most of their goals were coming from one player who is actually still currently leading the tournament in goal scoring, tied for the lead with Fondell and Zellers. But we have let's get to the comment section. Key, of course, you are always welcome. You and David did have an interesting time in the comment section last episode, but that's okay. We're here to have a good time, so welcome back to the desk, Key. And yeah, we're all excited for what's coming up today. I think we have two awesome games, and I really do feel, as much as obviously as a Canadian, I'm the most excited for the Canadian Canada Czechia game, but I actually feel this Sweden-Finland game will be the game of this day. I think it's going to be the game. You have two teams that really don't like each other. They play really, really physical, and I really expect it to really come down to what's going to win, scoring power or grit. I think that's what that game's going to come down to, and which goalie can make one more big save than the other. Because like I said, I feel you do have the two best goalies in the tournament going head to head.
Yeah, for sure. This is going to be a very interesting game. It's just going to be interesting. I don't know. I don't think there's really anything else to say about it. Like, it's going to be a physical battle. I would just think Sweden wants to avoid it, like getting it too physical as much as possible. But it's going to be like a hard hitting. It's going to be a fun game. Mm-hmm. Both teams are very fast teams. Like, they're not slow. Just because they're bigger doesn't mean they're slow exactly. They're both very fast teams. It's going to be a very interesting game because I think this is Sweden's hardest game so far. I think
people would argue that it was the States, but Finland beat the States.
Yeah, this is Sweden's hardest game.
If you remember going into this, I kind of said Finland. I think it's the team that everyone's sleeping on, but I think could win it all.
Yeah, I thought Sweden looked very comfortable against the States. In my opinion, I thought they had
that game under control for most of the game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I think this game will be different.
But But I mean, I do think the key is going to be I honestly think this could come down to which goalie can make one more big save. I know Rimpinen's stats don't jump off the page the way Love Hardmansten from Sweden's do. Like, I mean, if you look at his stats, like a 9.29, a 90, a 929 save percentage, and a 2.50 goals against average, he's been phenomenal.
Yeah.
But Rimpinen, you got to remember, is goalie of the tournament last year, and I know his numbers are a little deflated because of the the Canada-Finland game, but overall I think he's one of the better goalies in the tournament, even though funny enough save percentage he's towards the bottom of the tournament, which is bizarre when you think about it. But talking about Canada, Czechia, this is one, again, I'm really curious to see what Ivan Kovic can do. He's currently leading the tournament in save percentage and goals against average, but he's also only played in 2 games.
Yeah.
So those stats can be a little inflated, and he's played against Latvia and Slovakia. No disrespect to those 2 teams, but they're not your Finlands and your Czechias that Carter George played against. Now, Carter George didn't do great in this tournament, funny enough, with only a 84% save percentage and a 3.33 goals against average. He was truthfully, save percentage-wise, was the worst goalie in the tournament, which is a shock.
Yeah. I will say, though, I think a benefit for Canada tonight is that Czechia, I think he has played Czech. He did play Czechia at the U18 level, but they haven't seen Ivan Kovic this tournament yet. It's been a year or 2 since I think they've met Czechia at the U18 level. But like Ivan Kovic, they haven't seen Ivan Kovic yet. But I also think that nobody talks about it, but Canada's have heavily improved since that Czechia game.
Oh, 100%.
I want to say like they are a much better team than what they were at the start of this tournament. So I wouldn't sleep on, I think a big thing tonight for Canada is to match Czechia physically as much as you can, but also keep your emotions in check. This is a tense rivalry. These 2 teams dislike each other. They've played each other each of the last 3 or 4 tournaments now. Like, this game is going to be physical. These 2 countries do not like each other. These 2 teams do not like each other. Given that first game, I think you got to keep your emotions in check. Don't take any dumb penalties tonight. And I think a big key is that Colby, the third line, that third line is going to be big tonight because they are the tone setting line. They are going to match up against Czechia's top guys. And they're going to, I think a big thing for them tonight, be physical. Don't let Czechia get anything easy tonight from that top. And then Gavin McKenna, Michael Misa lines. They gotta, they gotta do what they did in these last 2 games and do the puck, spin the puck around, get good possession in Czechia's line. Don't make it easy for Czechia to get out. Pound them, hurt them. Make them work for every inch of this game, because I don't think that's something they did last year. I don't think it's something they did the year before. I think Czechia had an easy time against Canada the last 2 years. I don't think this team will, but I do think they need to make this a hard game for them tonight. I also think they need to focus on their own game. Don't let Czechia draw you in to their type of game. I know it's saying physical, but this Canada team is a physical team. But,
but I will say the big thing for Canada this year, you look like people have been complaining, and myself included, by the way, and then we got to get to some comments about the way this Canada team is. They're top in the tournament for scoring efficiency. They have the best power play in the tournament. They have the second best penalty kill in the tournament. They've allowed they have the third best goals against average in the tournament. And they're actually sitting in 9th in penalties.
Yeah.
Where Czechia is pretty close with them. They've only taken 7. They're 7th in penalties against. They have goals against. Now they've allowed the 7th most. Sorry, goals allowed. I should say it didn't switch over. Yeah, the 7th most goals allowed at 2.77. So they've been struggling keeping it out of their net, where Canada's really improved from the start of the tournament. Their penalty kill is 3rd, only just behind Canada. So you might think that there's not a big difference. Canada's penalty kill is 91.67%. And Czechia's penalty kill is 75%. Yeah. So yeah, it's only 2nd to 3rd. That's a huge drop off First, by the way, is Switzerland, who had 93.75%. Their penalty kill was phenomenal. It's how they made as far as they did in the tournament. And you could say the same about the power play. Czechia's power play is 4th, Canada's is 1st. So you're thinking, it's
not
still comparable. Canada's power play is scoring 47.6% of the time. Czechia's is scoring 31.58. Still good, but not nearly as good as Canada. I think potentially this game is won by special teams because I think 5-on-5, these two teams are pretty even. Czechia's 5th in the tournament in scoring efficiency, scoring on 13% of their shots. This year, Canada's scoring on just under 17%. Where remember, last year, Canada's scoring efficiency was 6.8% of shots. That's the biggest number that's jumped up for me.
I do want to say also, I think a big thing that factored into that first game was George's clear lack, I think, of even like confidence heading into this tournament. I think it has hurt him because Prince George hasn't been very good this year. I think that's where he's playing.
Carter George is playing in the Owen Sound Attack.
Oh, sorry. Yes, Owen Sound.
Who also not very good this year.
But I think a big thing for him was that his confidence was lacking. You could see it because his rebound control wasn't great, and that led to a couple of Czechia's goals opening night. I think, but the difference is Ivan Kovic, he has not allowed very many rebounds. I don't think his rebound control has been as poor at times. So I think a big thing tonight will again be, trust Ivan Kovic is going to make the big saves, but you got to block shots. You got to do everything that you've been doing, and you can't let Czechia throw you off. I think a big thing will be is that second line, the line that's been dominant all tournament, continues to be dominant tonight, continues to make the Czechia defenders work and take long shifts because they got to keep the puck going in that Czechia zone and be very good at breaking it out. I think the defense needs to be tight again tonight. I'll be interested to see if Hunter goes with 8 D-man again, because I think that worked well, keeping the D-man fresh. Actually. I think it worked very well because I think a lot about the turnovers is that a lot of them are getting tired and they're not thinking clearly, I think, even though that doesn't make any sense if you think about it. But I think having more defensemen there helps in the case that you could roll out more guys so they're not all like 4 guys aren't playing on the penalty kill. Like you got more options to go on the penalty kill. You got more options to do other stuff. I think this will be a very interesting game.
Interesting here what Lane's saying when they're doing the games of the simulation. I think this is more back to the first game, how they're not taking a lot of penalties besides just the fighting, which is interesting.
Yeah. I think that is
key. I don't know if Finland's going to win both necessarily, but I do. I'll give you my prediction shortly, but I think Finland has the potential, to be kind of sleepers in both of these tournaments. And hey, you know what? Your cat can enjoy the analyst desk. Like, man, who doesn't love a cat watching you? Like, look at that. Look at the cute little kitty. You are going to see Dan again. He is just out and about, cruising the town. If you saw our blooper on social media, though, just don't ask him to get an AI translator.
Yeah.
It did not go very well.
That was so funny.
But seeing the simulation here that Dan and Lane did, which Dan's given us a nice kissy face on this on this freeze frame, projecting a 7-4 Canada win. And I got to say, guys,
penalties.
No disrespect, this is the one that I don't think is as accurate as your Sweden Finland. I don't see Canada winning by 3 goals. I really don't.
It's going to be a tight game.
And I think it's going to be low. I think I'm expecting Ivan Kovic to have a better night than 4 goals on 34. Czechia's goaltending's not the best in this tournament. They're towards the bottom. Not that their goaltending's been bad, but it hasn't been phenomenal. Yeah. So what do you think, Adam? How, when you're looking at the simulation here, like maybe even ignoring the score a little bit, like we're seeing, do you think the face-off battle's dead even and time of attack's going to be relatively close? Like, are you thinking maybe that's even maybe where the simulation's getting it right?
I think the face-offs will be an interesting point because Canada has like 3 of the top 4 or 3 guys in the top 10 in face-off percentage. Like I remember Lane had said after game 1 that Canada had struggled in the face-off zone, but Canada had 4 guys in the top 10 after game 1. Like Canada's face-off percentage, I think it would be interesting to see. The concern would of course be Hage. He had struggled at times, especially game 1. Hage did not have a great game 1 in the face-off dot.
No.
be looking to see him have a better game tonight, face-off wise, because I think that would be key to having him, McKenna, and Martin dominate this game, is having him be better in the face-off circle. Of course, Reschke is going to be taking the face-offs on the power play, so there's no need to worry about that because he's been dynamite in the face-off zone. But I do think like time of attack, I think Canada will be higher in that. Czechia, I think like their main focus is defensively, but then attacking, like on turnovers. That's what they did mostly in game one. I remember correctly. They had a lot of, they just attacked off of the turnovers, and that's how they got a lot of their scoring chances. So I think that would be another point that would be of concern is if Canada starts turning over the puck a lot again. I think that's a part. I think they've been doing a good job of not doing that as much. I also think hits will be an interesting one. I don't think Canada's going to throw out 37 hits. I think that would be a lot closer than 7.
Mm-hmm.
I also think it would be, and maybe even a little bit lower than 37 to 30.
I don't know. I actually think this game could be extremely physical because I think these are two teams that don't like each other and they like to hit hard.
Yeah, it would be an interesting game to say the least.
So
shots will be a lot closer too.
I think the time on the tack, though, I do feel this game possession wise will be very, very close.
Yeah,
like I think you're going to see both teams really. I think either game I'd be really shocked if we see a 7-0 blowout or a 7-1 blowout like we saw for Canada versus Slovakia, which I was really surprised. I don't know if you heard one of the Slovakian players say we're coming in and we're going to beat Canada. Apparently that really motivated Team Canada to come out flying.
I'm not surprised.
Neither am I. I was surprised he said that.
I think this team, I think a big thing about this year compared to maybe even other years is this Canada team seems very humble and they seem just very dead focused on the game they have ahead. I think Hunter's did a good job of focusing the players on what they have ahead and not to look forward to what could potentially be next. They're dead set focused on the game ahead and they know not to take these games lightly. And I feel like that's great. I loved what Gavin McKenna said. I saw it yesterday or earlier today. He had said that he had reached out to Connor Bedard. He had been talking to Connor Bedard about how not to get caught up in the moment of being a future number 1 pick and kind of the pressure that has come with this season and at the World Juniors. And I thought that was great and very mature of McKenna to do that sort of thing.
100%.
Like talk to other older players who have been in this moment before. So I like what I'm hearing from the team. I think, again, it would be very interesting to see how they perform tonight because I think they got to start better than they did in game 1 of the tournament because I don't think they, despite the game being like close, I don't think they started how they wanted to in that game.
That game was more Canada. Canada got going in the second half, but Czechia really dominated. Now, what's going to be tough for Canada? It's hard to beat the same team twice.
Yeah.
However, I would argue Canada has improved drastically.
Yeah.
I mean, drastically.
Which you don't see very often.
I think this might be fair to say this is the most improved I've ever seen a Canadian team from start to semifinals.
Yeah.
Like this team, I'll be honest, I did not have a lot of faith in this team after game 1. And Adam, you, sir, told me to calm down.
Yeah.
And that this team would figure it out. Dale Hunter was a good coach. I got caught up in we've been eliminated in back-to-back quarterfinals. What the hell was this? And Canada now, win or lose this game, this year has been a much better performance. You're guaranteed to play in a medal game. And I think that has to be the goal going into the tournament. I'd say for all these teams and the United States, who unfortunately for them just fell short with Cole Hudson saying he felt it was his fault that they lost. Which is tough on him, right? Because I don't think I would really blame Cole Hudson for what happened in that game. He probably shouldn't have even played.
Yeah.
But let's get to another comment here before we give our predictions. I hope people just stay clear of low jobs today. First, I said low jobs, and I'm like, what is that? Like,
yeah, me too. I was so confused.
People have been incredibly rude towards McKenna, making personal attacks at him on social media. Don't do that. But it was always so immature of him last week to talk about Slovakian goalie standing on his head.
Slovakian goalie played very well last week.
I thought he did too.
The backup played very well. The starter had a rough game. which is so unfortunate for him. But
which is too bad because he had such a good tournament and just had an off night. Which you know what?
Which is rough.
It's so tough on a goaltender because if a forward or defenseman's having an off night, there are so many other players around you where you can take them or you can, give them shifts off. Like Morgan Riley last night. I know everyone was ripping him a new butthole last night, but like at the end of the day, when a defenseman or a forward's having an off night, it's easier to cover it versus a goaltender, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, personal attacks against any human being, unless they're like a terrible human being, is kind of messed up. But let's get into some predictions, and we'll start off as the Finland-Sweden game's just about to get underway. Adam, who's taking this one?
Oh, you mean the first
game? Quickly, okay. Sorry. Lane is saying that it was actually 7-1, and Canada gave up 3 goals in the last 2 minutes to make it interesting in the simulation. I don't see Canada. I don't see this game getting out of hand.
Yeah. Wow. I don't see that either.
We have a go Canada go from Mr. Santa Claus.
Oh.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't the Slovakian goalie, but he did make a snide comment about one of them standing on their heads. Very much a Rourke thing to do, in my opinion. Mr. Clipboard. I don't know. I didn't see that interview, but then again, I haven't seen every single interview ever existing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Dan saying Sweden, by the way, or Sweden, as we've been told to say at the desk. Adam, who are you taking between Sweden and Finland?
Sweden. I've said before, I think Sweden are the best team in this tournament. I don't see Finland stopping them tonight. I think it'll be a very close game, but I do think Sweden are just a better all-around team than I think Finland are. I could, of course, be wrong, and because Sweden have choked at this spot before. But I do think Sweden will get it done. I think Sweden will be playing for gold tomorrow night.
Well, I think
you got Finland.
I think it's going to be a close game as well. I think it's going to come down to who can make one more key play in a key moment. And to me, that's Finland. I think Finland has just shown and I understand these are different players and different kids, but it's a culture. I think Finland has more of a winning culture than Sweden. And this is no disrespect to Sweden. If any Sweden team's going to break this unfortunate streak, it's this team. But I just think this Finland team is too good. And I think at the end of the day, Rippinen is going to do what he did against the States and just really make some. I think this game will come down to goaltending. And I get the Sweden goalie on paper has been better this tournament. But I'm taking Finland in this one because I think Rippinen is just going to be able to make that one more big save. And that's where I think this game's going to come down to, is which goalie can make one more critical save in a critical moment. So now let's go to Canada, Czechia. Again, I think this is another game. It's going to be very, very close. Yeah. And also, too, if you have your opinions in the comments, shoot them in. Who you think's going to win? But Adam, I'll let you go first. Who's taking this?
I got Canada. After Ivan Kovic's performance against Slovakia, which he faced a lot of shots late.
Yeah, actually, he had to be really sharp towards the end of that game.
And I think because of that, I think he'll have a great game tonight. I have a lot of trust in Ivan Kovic. And I think this Canada team, I think it'll be very close because Czechia, all respect to Czechia, they're a phenomenal team. Mm-hmm. But I think Canada this team feels, I don't want to say feels different, but this team seems a lot more capable of doing what the last 2 iterations couldn't. And that's score goals, really, at the end of the day. And I think it'll be an interesting game, but I got Canada. Be a close game, really close, real intense.
I also have Canada just because I always say numbers don't lie. Canada statistically, on paper, on the ice, they're just the better team. I'm not saying Czechia is a bad team. Czechia is a very good team. They're an excellent team. A team that I think if they win, I won't be shocked. Like if Canada lost to Slovakia, as much as that was the one upset I was calling for, because I thought Slovakia had the best chance of pulling the upset off besides Finland. I look at this Canada team, their goal differential is one of the best in the tournament. They're scoring at such a high level. They have the most shots on goal in the entire tournament. Czechia's close behind them. I just think in every statistic, this Canadian team is just a little bit better. And I'm expecting Ivan Kovic to be in his biggest stage of his career in Hockey Canada to play extremely well. And if he struggles early, you have a guy sitting on the bench who has not had a great tournament, but can make key saves in key moments. So I'm taking Canada, but it's going to be very close. We have in the comments Dan saying Canada and Key saying Canada, but in overtime. But before we let you go, I figured
I don't like this.
For anyone who hasn't seen Dan trying to learn how to get AI transcripting to work on YouTube, you got to check.
He was not using it.
YouTube, wake up! Search. What the f just happened? Go back. YouTube, wake up! Search Barry Coach hot streak. It's just spinning. Why isn't it doing it? YouTube, work.
Dan struggled a little bit there on the YouTube.
He struggled a lot.
Just so everyone knows, we may look super professional all the time, but sometimes we really struggle.
Yeah, that was funny.
That is on our social media, so please share that one around. I think that's one of our best bloopers we've had so far at the desk. Let us know if you want to see more bloopers, because not everything we do is perfect. That was Dan trying to find where he talked about the Barry Colts in an episode.
Now I'm worried that Jacob has a bunch of bloopers for all of us.
I do.
Oh, no.
Cannon needs to drink more bags of milk, though. All the chicks are tall. We're back to milk.
Stop with the milk.
Lots of short dudes on Canada. But, I think, Adam, it's time for you and I to peace out so we can check out these phenomenal games. Phenomenal. We will be back for a post-game show to wrap everything up. Well, if Adam isn't, I'll cry. But if that's okay. But we'll be back for a post-game show. Plus, we got to get you all teed up for the gold and bronze games for tomorrow. So thank you very much for joining us at the analyst desk. Of course, it's the self-proclaimed sports analyst, joined by the man who was not bit by a spider. He was bit by a goat, Mr. Adam the Goat. Until next time, thank you for joining us at the desk, where every day feels like game day.